Good morning, everybody, and a happy Friday morning to you. We have so much to cover today. I mean, my goodness. All right, let's just jump in there, shall we? Let's go. We're going to start off with Prince Edward. For those of you who don't know, he is in New Zealand. He's there to support the Duke of Edinburgh's one of the awards, which is having its 60th year. So he's visiting the Asia Pacific area. Now, he met with all of these kids, but one of the interesting things he did was he went on the Spirit of New Zealand, which is a sailing trip, midway through the 10-day sailing trip. So by doing so, he completed his own gold award. How cool is that? As is usual, Edward looks like he's having a good time. And can I just say that he looks healthier. He doesn't look quite as thin as he used to look. You know what I'm saying? Still sticking with Edward, last week he went to RBSL. And for those of you who don't know, this is a group that builds and maintains military vehicles. So Edward went and they gave him a guided tour of the facility and they showed him all the progress being made on the building of these vehicles and the new developments. I think that's right up his alley. Of course, he did the obligatory signing of the book. Love him. Moving on. Next up, we have Princess Anne. She went to a Nuclear Transport Solutions Barrow terminal. Very interesting. She visited the home port. She met with the team that runs this thing. She had a tour of a Class 68 Loco and one of their very unique ships. As is typical, working hard and looking good. Now, on that same day, because she's wearing the same outfit, she officially opened the start of construction of a town's first university building. It's the University of Cumbria campus on Barrow Island. So she went and did the very first shovel, and the nuclear vessel port is in the same town. So, I think that's lovely. All right, moving on. All right, we're going to move on now to Queen Camilla. She attended the Commonwealth Leaders event, A Call for Action, at the Marlborough House. This is a group that is safeguarding the well-being of women and children. Love that. Loving that green dress, by the way, that she's wearing. All right, moving on, still with Camilla, but adding William into the mix. Apparently, William and Camilla aren't together that often, but apparently when William and Camilla during the coronation were both headed to King Charles's Ascension Council, you have to go up these steps. Camilla took the lead and William was behind her, but apparently a clip has surfaced that shows William giving his arm to her because the stairs didn't have a handrail, and so he basically was helping her up the stairs. He was being a gentleman, helping her up the stairs. People love that, though. All right, moving on. All right, let's move on to Prince William now, who was in Manchester, and he was there to do two things. One was unveil a new initiative in tandem with the city, which is trying to tackle youth violence. So he went and unveiled this new project. It's injecting, according to this article, £130,000 or dollars to support the initiative to help reduce the rates of violence among youth. The money for Manchester Peace Together Alliance is what it's called. So William arrived and, handshakes all around. And then he met the mayor named Andy Burnham. And then he spoke to parents who lost their children due to youth violence. So William went to the city to launch the foundation's help in the area. This is the third big donation that they've given to this area. So they just keep going back and they just keep helping. Now, that was actually William's second stop of the day, because his first stop of the day was at a place called the Hideaway Youth Project. It is the lead partner of the Manchester Peace Together Alliance. And this is a group that takes children or young adults aged 10 to 25 who are at risk of youth violence. By the way, I don't think he had a good shot there on the table from the look on his face. So in the last 2 years, this group has supported, according to the article, over 470 young people and families at risk. I just love that. Now, this is really interesting, or I thought it was pretty cool. The founder of Keeping It Real is a woman named Wendy Sims, and she attended a garden party in May, and she met William at this garden party, and she said, he just picked me out of the crowd. There was no planned conversation. He just came over. He spoke to me. I spoke to him, and he even said, how about I come and see all of this in Moss Side? And she said, sure. She said, I didn't think he was actually going to come, but he did. But that's William. He had a discussion with somebody. He remembered what he said. He remembered his promise, and he's making good on it. Love it. All right, let's move on to Beatrice really quickly. She apparently went to a dinner party celebrating a friend's boutique that's just opening up in Mayfair. I believe her name is Monique Luhulier. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but it's a rose gold sequined cape and dress. She looked gorgeous. Let's move on now to Andrew. We haven't seen Andrew or spoken about Andrew in quite some time. We know that on Armistice Day, he was not allowed to go to the cenotaph and lay a wreath. Neither was Harry. So he decided to dress in all black, and he got on his horse and he went horseback riding in Windsor Great Park, and he put poppies on his horse, which I think is really sweet. It's pinned to the horse's bridle, and they're saying that this is his gesture to honor his mother, who would have flowers displayed on her horses each year on Remembrance Day. And sticking with Andrew, they're saying he should probably talk to the FBI at this point, because another one of his friends, fashion mogul Peter Nygaard, was just convicted on 4 counts of assault in Canada. Oh, he's 82 years old, and they're going to sentence him later on if he lives that long. Interesting. Moving on. All right, puff pieces are coming out. Meghan Markle still writes back and forth with Charles, and they have a correspondence. No. All right, I'm just going to touch on Tyler Perry really quickly. He was on a show with Kelly Ripa, and when she asked him about his role as Godfather, he said, yeah, I call her Little Lily. She's so adorable. They did not discuss the fact that Meghan Markle is the one who released where they were staying. We found that out when he was staying at Tyler Perry's house. He said, they were so happy there when they were at my house. They just loved it there. But again, nobody discussed the fact that she's the one who released to the media where they were staying. I found that a little odd. I also find it really shameful. I'm sorry, I just feel this way, that he said those horrible things about the royal family without ever meeting them, without getting the other side of the story. He just decided he was going to believe everything Meghan said. And of course, now it's been proven that she's a liar. But for some reason, he just wants to stick with this narrative. And I have to tell you, not only did Tyler Perry make swipes at the royal family, let's see how he feels if they reconcile. Not only did he take swipes at the royal family, but he made some not very nice swipes at Thomas Markle, another man that he's never met, and he only knows what he heard from Meghan. I just thought he was smarter than that. It's very disappointing. All right, moving on. All right. Next up, they're saying that Prince Harry was influenced by Meghan Markle to dislike his own family. I absolutely agree. She was whispering in his ear, your brother's going to be king. You've been treated badly. It's not fair. You didn't get everything that he got. That's exactly what's going on. Just like this article, they try to hamper Charles and William's events. We know what they're doing. Every time William does something, they come out with something. Every time Charles does something, they come out with something. They just did it again with the king's birthday, with the pap walk. And then you've got Catherine's thing with the children. And Harry comes out, I'm going to call my dad. We've seen it. So now William thinks that Harry's been brainwashed. I completely agree. Look what happened when he did that online session. The guy, diagnosed him with mental problems on a 45-minute live chat. Okay? Yes, he's been totally brainwashed. But I think the drugs have something to do with it, as well as his wife. All right, one more thing before we jump into our big story for today. Now that the Invictus Games is running into problems and they're short of money, Harry and Meghan are claiming that that's because the royal family snubbed the Invictus Games. Why would you say such horrible things about your family and then expect them to show up for the Invictus Games? William and Catherine gave you $500,000. You didn't even acknowledge it. Yeah, no. What's going on with the Invictus Games now we know is that some whistleblowers stuck their head up and pointed out that there was going to be a money shortfall, and the money shortfall was due to the Invictus Games paying for Meghan's clothing, Harry and Meghan's security, Harry and Meghan's airfare, Harry and Meghan's hotel. They're multimillionaires. They should pay for themselves. That's the problem, isn't it? All right, let's move on now. All right, here we go. Omid Scobie's book is coming out, and he dropped a little bit of information to try to whet everybody's appetites. All it's done is show people that Harry and Meghan absolutely did help with this book, and they have their hands all over it. So Omid, who we know is a close friend of Harry and Meghan's, claims that they had no idea that the family was getting ready to say goodbye to the Queen, that she was dying. And in the new book, he says that William and Harry's relationship is beyond repair. And, I got to be honest, that's the only thing that I probably agree with. So here's some of the allegations that are being made, okay? First, he's claiming that when they found out that the Queen was dying, that Harry found that out, that he texted William to find out how they were going to be getting to the, up to Balmoral where the Queen was. So the phone is ringing, and it was an unknown number, and he usually doesn't pick it up, but Meghan said, oh, just go ahead and get it. And he picked it up, and Harry, who had not spoken to his father, said that he and Camilla were about to go to Balmoral, and that Anne was there already, and Harry needs to make his way to Scotland immediately. Now, how would Omid Scobie know that the phone was ringing, and Harry almost didn't pick it up until Meghan told him to? How would he know that? If that's true, it's because Harry and Meghan have colluded in the book, okay? Harry supposedly then sent a text message to William saying, how are you and Catherine getting to Scotland, and can we travel together? And he's complaining he didn't get a response. Now, keep in mind that Harry had changed his phone number multiple times by then. William may not have recognized the number. Therefore, as Harry ignores strange numbers, William might have ignored any text messages if they were sent because he didn't recognize the number, okay? So he says, I got nothing from William. He didn't get in touch with me. That several people knew that the Queen had died, and Harry was crushed because they couldn't wait for him before they put out the information. Again, here we go. I don't believe that. What I do believe is what this Twitter user said. Omid Scobie wants you to believe that the Queen passed away at 3:10. The Prime Minister knew, the government knew, the BBC knew, the US knew, Lady C knew. But at 5:35 p.m. when Harry's flight took off from Luton, he didn't know about it. Now here's the thing. The Queen's death was not announced until 6:30 p.m. But there's no way that the family didn't send some notification to Harry. We know that there were multiple temper tantrums. Harry was mad until they let him wear his uniform. And even then, in this picture, everybody looks bereaved. Harry just looks mad. Maybe he's mad at himself because he allowed his wife to throw a temper tantrum, which is why the plane with all of the royals on it sat on that tarmac for 69 minutes because they were waiting for Harry. That's really what went on, you guys. Meghan wanted to go. Harry and Meghan already announced that they were going together. And Charles said, your wife isn't welcome here. She's not welcome here. She's already damaged the Queen during the end of her life. Let her have some death in peace. And Harry goes off, don't talk about my wife that way. Maybe Harry felt guilty for the way he treated the Queen towards the end. According to the book, he whispered to her at her bedside, to her body, I hope you're happy that you're reunited with Grandpa. And he admired her for carrying out her duties until the end. Really? How would Omid Scobie know that if Harry didn't give him the information? I mean, their fingers are all over this book. Omid Scobie's description is a twisting of facts and Harry and Meghan attacking the family again, whereas Tom Bower's statement about what really happened is more believable. Let's not forget that when Harry and Meghan were invited to Balmoral, they said no. Let's not forget that Meghan recently, right before the Queen died, gave an interview to The Cut where she basically said, I didn't sign an NDA. I can say anything I want. That's a threat. Time and time again, they refused to go visit her or bring the children. I mean, give me a break. He treated his grandmother like dirt. Let me tell you what this book is. This book is a swipe at William. Harry is so jealous of William. We've seen it. We saw it in The Spare. Now, he and Meghan absolutely helped with this book, just like they helped with Finding Freedom. They're going to deny it, but we know their hands are all over this book. And the fact that Harry, this whole thing came out about Harry wanting to talk to his dad for his birthday. I mean, every time the royal family has opened the door just a little bit, Harry's slammed it in their face. And it's going to happen again with this book. Now, you guys should know that they're doing to Omid's book what they did to Harry's book. They're already discounting it. Remember, Harry had great numbers, but they also gave it away for free on Kindle. And if you ordered one book, they sent you two. And then if you wanted to participate in that live chat he had, you had to buy another book. These are the tricks of the trade. These are the things that they do to make the book look like a bestseller. I don't think it's going to do well at all. Oh, and FYI, just in case you didn't catch it, notice that Carolyn Durand has walked away and is having nothing to do with this book. What Harry is doing is very obvious. He's trying to rewrite all of the events around the Queen's death to show his resentment for William. He's already tried to rewrite history before. You can't rewrite it. You can't undo what you did. And I could be wrong, but there are 8 grandchildren, and I don't believe they were all called to the bedside. All right, I shouldn't touch on this, but I'm going to do it really quickly because, Meghan said before that she's not really a crier. And while her character on Suits was, that's just not who she is. Could have fooled us. We've seen her crying on the floor of the closet when she was leaving Canada. We know that Harry allegedly found her crying on the floor after the bridesmaids, collapse. We know that she was collapsing and crying on the floor during her alleged miscarriage. We know that she only cries out of the left eye. Remember that. Remember? 1, 2, give me a minute. Go, Meghan. That's what she said. Remember, on her last flight out of the UK, she collapsed into the arm of her security guy. I tried so hard. You get it. So in case you haven't figured it out, they're victims again. This is more of the entire I'm a victim narrative. Look what my family did to me when my grandmother died. Look at how they treated me. Get it? All right, you guys, lots and lots of information in this video. And I want those comments, put them down, make them good. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you've already hit it, go ahead and double check, make sure you're still subscribed. And don't forget to push that like button, okay? If you've donated through my coffee fund, thank you so much. And as always, you guys, have a great day.